Hello! Today I'm going to show you how I made this mini album. What I'm showing you right now is what you will need to complete the mini album. I'm just toning down the brightness a little bit here. Okay. So what you'll need, first I'll show you what you'll need. I've shared this album in another video earlier, so if you want to see that, go ahead and watch this, but we're going to make this. And what you'll need is, I picked up these envelopes from Hobby Lobby. They're 6 by 9. You could make your own if you want to, if you don't have them. And they're generally a very good deal because I pick them up when Paper Studio stuff is 50% off, so I get them very cheap, very inexpensive. So you need those, you need some craft cardstock, adhesive, and then for your closure you're going to need some seam binding or some sort of ribbon, and then decorative paper, whatever sort of decorative paper you want. I'm going to show you how I put mine together, and then you can go from there. The really nice thing about this album is that you could add or take away as much as you wanted to. So let's go ahead and get started. First you're going to take your envelope, and that's what we're going to start with. And the first thing I did is I removed these because I did not want them on there. They're pretty easy to take off. You just pull them up and then gently pull up the adhesive underneath them. And if you rip, it's not the end of the world because you're going to cover both of those with pattern paper too, so the fact that this is still a little sticky won't matter. And then we're just going to pull up this one as well, just like that. And then you can keep this for another time, or you can just toss it. I'm just going to toss it. Okay? And then the next step is to take your scoreboard, and for this one, because you're scoring so many layers, it works best to use a tool like this. It will give you a much deeper score, and we need to get through. If you don't have this, just flip it and do it on both sides, or even if you do have this, you might want to do that anyways. So what you want to do is determine how large this envelope goes to 9 inches, okay? But your base page is going to be part of this envelope. So like the size of your book. So mine is 5.5. So you can change yours up if you want to. You can make it however you want it to be. I'm just going to stick with the same size for now because this size seemed to work pretty good. I'm just going to, mine did score pretty good. I could see the mark very well on this side too, but just for good measure, I want to make sure that it's really scored because you're folding 2 layers. Okay, so now we're done with the scoreboard for now. The next step is to take your cutter, and you're just going to remove a sliver off this end to open up your envelope, just a tiny bit, and then what that does is it opens your envelope. Okay, then you fold it in, and once you've done that, you want to score it to make sure that it is folded really well. Okay, there we have that. Now the next few steps is just adding what you want in extras. You can go around and add all of the extra flaps that you want. So I'm going to make mine just like I made my last one, okay? But I am going to make one change that I didn't do in this one. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see that it kind of bulges right there. And so to fix that, I am going to give a little gusset on this side, so that right here I'm just going to, right in this part, I'm going to put a little gusset just to accommodate my bulk. Okay, so I'm just going to put it right in my scoreboard, and I'm just putting it up to any line, and I'm going to score it at, I'm going to give myself just 1/4 of an inch of a gusset, just a little space for some bulk. Okay, then we're going to fold that up. Okay, and then there we have it. Okay, so now we're going to grab our paper, and I am using, this is Hobby Lobby craft paper, and it matches the Hobby Lobby envelopes perfectly. My last one, I used the Hobby Lobby envelopes, but I used a different kind of craft paper, and so it kind of, it didn't quite match as well as I would have liked. You can't really tell because of the pattern paper, but it didn't match as well as I would have liked. So we're going to go for here. The first one we're going to do is we're going to make a flap to cover completely over our whole book. That will be our front cover essentially. So to do that, it's going to attach to this flap, okay? So to do that, I want to measure from here to here, and I know that that's 5.5 because that's how I cut it. So 5.5. I'm going to cut this piece to 5.5 by 6. Okay. I don't need any extra flap to attach it to because it's going to attach to this flap. I just need just exactly the right size, and that is 5.5. Okay, and then I don't think I've ever used Hobby Lobby craft paper before. It's thinner than most craft paper. So I'm cutting this to 5.5 by 6. Okay. And then it's going to attach just like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up my book here, and I'm just going to run a line of adhesive right along the edge, right next to the score mark, and then right along the edge of this one. And then I'm going to line it up. Don't go over your score mark there, or you'll interfere with your closing. And there we have it. Okay, so that's our first little bit. Ouch. Next, I want to make a flap that goes inside of here. Okay, so I want this flap to be this same size. So the size of this one is 3.5. So I'm actually going to make this flap 4 inches by 6. Let's see what this scrap of paper is. Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm off camera here. I'm marking this at 4, and then I'm going to mark it at 6. Oh, darn it. Alrighty. And then all we're going to do is take this and score it at 1/2 inch, just like that. If you write down your measurements from their first album, you could really make a bunch of these at once, and they could be nice little gifts to give out pictures. So that's going to go right there, and you're not going to place it right up against the score mark, otherwise it'll interfere with how this folds. Just put it just a hair away from your fold line, and you'll get a nice close to your book. Just make sure you line it all up good, and it will look nice. And then you can see that's hidden underneath there. It opens like that, and this will be hidden when we put on our pattern paper. So we have 2 flaps. Now you could also put another flap here so it flaps up this way, put another flap here. I'm making mine just like my other one except for this little gusset, so I don't want to do that right now. But then the next step then is we're going to put a little piece right here that's going to come over here, okay? So I'm going to take another measurement. I know I don't want it to be any longer than 5 inches long, so we're going to make it 5 inches by, let's make it by 3, but we need to add 1/2 inch for our hinge, so we're going to make it 5.5 inches by 3. So I'm going to put my paper in my trimmer at 3, and actually I think that's a little small. Let's go up to 3.5. Yeah, that looks good. And then we're going to go to 5.5. Okay, then we take our scoreboard again and score it at 1/2 inch. Fold that up, and also at the end, after I had my album together, I decided to round all my corners. So you could round yours now before you put all these together. That might make it easier, but you don't have to. And then we just attach this just like that. And again, this hinge will be hidden when we put pattern paper on it. Okay, so that is our book. Now we flip it over, and on the back I had a flap as well. And the flap is going to attach here and close here so that they can tie on this side, which makes it, you know, it opens a little bit backwards, but I kind of like that. It's just a little different. I think, oh, okay. Because I put this in here, I have a lot of room in here to mess with. So I may change it up and add a little something, but we'll see. First, let's work on the back. So to do the back, we need a piece that's this same size, except we have to add a hinge. So I forgot what size we made that. I think it was 5.5 by 6. So we're going to go ahead and cut out a piece that is 6 by 6. And I think I have a scrap that will work. 6 by 6. Okay. By 6, and then we get our scoreboard again, and we're going to put it in here. It doesn't really matter how you put it because it's going to line up they're both 6, so we're going to score this at 5.5, or you can score it at 1/2 inch. When my measurement needs to be exact, I like to score it at the 5.5 instead, because I don't want this to go over. Okay. Then we're going to put our adhesive down, and we didn't need to gusset on this one because on the back we're not going to put a whole bunch of stuff. All I'm going to do is lay it down lined up with my pages, make sure it lines up. Oops. And then, so, whoops, my bad, it opens like this, and then also like this. Okay, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a hair off because this just keeps bugging me. Somehow it's just a little bit bigger than I needed it to be. Okay, so there's that. Opens like this, and then on the back side, whoops, the back side opens like this, and over here we have, I put a little pocket, a library pocket. I'll show you on mine here. So this is the back part right here, and I just stuck a little library pocket there. So let's make that. Let's determine how big we want our library pocket. I think I want it to be, yeah, 4.5 inches, so that means I'm gonna add 2 inches. Yeah, we're gonna cut a piece that is 6.5 because we need a flap to close up. This is to make the library pocket, so we're going to make it a little bit differently than we would make the other hinges. So 4.5, we want 6.5 by, let's make it, I think, let's go 3.5. But I'm going to need 1/2 inch on both sides, so we're going to cut it by 4.5. And you'll get what I mean once I show you if you've made a library pocket before. So we're going to cut this piece of paper to 6.5 by 4.5. Okay. 6.5 by 4.5. Keep your scraps. One of them could be the pocket if you wanted. Alright, then you take your scoreboard and you're going to put this in here with the 4.5 at the top, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 4. Okay, and then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score it at 4.5 inches. It's that simple. Okay, then grab our scissors, and we're going to cut this and this, and then we're going to completely remove this portion. Okay, and then fold that up, and then these two little flaps are going to wrap around the back side, just like that. If you'd like to cover it before you attach it, you could cover it now. You could also, if you wanted to, you could make this part a little bit bigger. I just chose not to. I'm just gonna go ahead and round these corners, okay? And then lastly, you just need, yep, this one will work. We just need a little scrap. I'm not even gonna worry about cutting it out perfectly. We're going to fold it in half. Just like that. And then this piece is going to get attached with the fold at the bottom, matching up to the bottom fold of your pocket. It's going to get attached right like that. Open it up. And now we apply our adhesive to this piece. Just like that. We take our book and we put it on. We're working on the back cover now. So we're attaching this directly to the envelope. And you just attach it there however you would like to attach it. You could put it right in the middle. You could put it off to the side. You could put it however you want. Essentially, it goes like that though. And now, your book, oh, we forgot, we need a piece to put in there, and then you need a piece to put in here, and then essentially your book is done. So let's take this piece, yep, that will work. Okay, and on the one that I made previously, I left a flap of this out. I folded it over the front of the flap and attached a picture to it. On this one, I think I'm just going to leave it like that, so I can still pull it out easily, but it's in there. So there's that, and then we need a piece here, and what I did, I took this piece, or this punch, it's from We Are Memory Keepers, it's just a thumb pull, and I punched, lined it up about in the center, sorry about my hair there, lined it up just like that, and punched. Okay, so then we can put a little thing in there, and then on the back pocket here, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little card. I need to cut a little of this off, and then I'm gonna score it right there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is remove a hair of this so it's the right size, like so. Then get my scoreboard again. That was clever. I believe I cut off my score mark. Just line up my score mark with one of the holes, and then, whoops. just gonna remove that, and then that should fit right in the pocket there. Whoops. I'm gonna go ahead and round those two corners and then put that right there in the pocket, and there we have it. And then also, again, if you wanted to, here you could add more flaps. You could put another flap that flapped this way. You could put another flap that flapped up and flapped down. You could change your flaps up however you wanted to. But like I said, on mine I'm going to keep it just like I made the first one. And then also I would go around and round all of the corners. And then all you have left to do is to decorate and attach your pictures. And also I used seam binding on mine, and I attached it to the front cover on the top and then put the pattern paper over it, and I attached it to the back cover on top and then put the pattern paper over it. Putting it on the top rather than the underneath side works a little bit better. Alright? Alrighty.